Hello again and welcome back to Plan and Preserve. I am Brenda. And today we're going to be talking condiments. You may ask, you're not canning anything from scratch? Nope, we are going to reprocess these condiments. And I'll give you the reason why in a minute, so stay tuned. Back to Plan and Preserve. I am Brenda, and today we're talking condiments and what we're going to do with those. Well, we're going to process these into jars. Not only does this allow us to save money by buying in bulk, but it also allows us to help reduce the garbage, and for our environment we can save on all the plastic that we're rebuying and rebuying those items. This also helps us in reducing waste, but it also saves in refrigerator space, and it also helps us in preparing our pantry. Long-term pantry. I have a working pantry that is also long-term. So anyway, let's get started. You may ask, why would I do this? Well, you might be gifted a big old thing of barbecue sauce, or you gotta buy one, get one on these ketchups. You couldn't pass it up. Mustard, that seems to be that thing that kind of grows in our refrigerator all the time, and sometimes we need it and then sometimes we don't need it. But today we're going to talk about, is it safe to reprocess foods? Well, on the National Food Preservation website, it gives you examples of canning barbecue sauce or tomato, ketchup tomato. And these are recipes. For example, the barbecue sauce. I need 4 quarts of peeled, cored, chopped red vine tomatoes, celery, onion, bell peppers, hot peppers, garlic, brown sugar, dry mustard, and the list goes on here, and vinegar. The ketchup, again, more ripe tomatoes, chopped onions, red peppers, vinegar, cloves, cinnamon, allspice, sugar, etc. Now, I have canned my ketchup before. The taste is amazing. What I would do differently is I probably would cook it longer, reduce so it would be thicker. I tasted this. I did a taste test beside the Heinz, which I love Heinz. And actually the Heinz tasted so sweet compared to this. And this had actually a better flavor than the Heinz. I was surprised. What I can't get past, I can get past this, I should say. My husband, he can't get past, it's too watery. So I use these ketchup when I make soups or different recipes that call for a tomato sauce or season something. Today we're going to do a bulk canning session. These are all approved through the USDA and National Food Preservation. So for tomatoes, we're going to process those in pints for 20 minutes. for the ketchup for 20 minutes. The barbecue sauce is 20 minutes, and the mustard is, wait a second, there's no recipe approved method for mustard. Well, I'm going to show you a quick tip. All of these have vinegar. In fact, they have vinegar and/or, tell nobody, high fructose corn syrup. Don't tell nobody these have corn syrup in them, because we're trying to get away from that. But for those who can't afford to or don't have time to make your own, this is a great way to save money. Vinegar is the first ingredient in this mustard, and we know that's acidic. So I'm going to show you a cheap way to make sure what your processing is within below the 4.6 recommended acidity level. They're a strip that lets you test the food or liquid and measure your acidity level. And you simply just tear these off. So we will test each one of these, and I'll show you what it looks like on the strip. As we process these today, I'm not going to bore you with all 3 of these because you do them all the same. What you do is you heat these up. You don't bring them to a boil, you just bring them up till they're hot. And you put them in hot jars and you water bath them. In my case, I'm going to steam bath them for the allotted times. I will walk through one of these, and then I'll do the other 2 off camera, and we'll talk all things, have our table chat. So before we get started, one of my tricks that I learned or developed when I had my Blue Hill company and was processing my pepper jams, was heating my jars in bulk. I was a small artesian batch making company, and I didn't have time to wet jars, neither did I want to wet jars. And I needed to make double, triple, quadruple batches, get them in jars, get them while they're hot. So what I do is I put it in the oven for 250. By the time we are ready, these jars will be hot and ready to go. So let's put them in there. I put them on my cooking tray. I also have my lids ready to go also. So we will be back when I'm ready to do the first batch. Alrighty, I have my mustard dumped into a stainless steel pan, and we're gonna do the strip real quick. Tear it off, dump it in there. Just gonna wipe off some of that mustard. Okay, see if I can get this up here real close. As you can see, we're between the 3 and the 3.5. So mustard's past the strip test. Anyway, let's get this cooking. We're just gonna bring it up to where it's hot. We don't want to bring this to a boil. And I put this in a stainless steel pot because I like cooking in stainless steel pots most of the time. So we'll bring this up to till it's hot. And while that's coming up to temp, I'm gonna get my water and my steamer and get it going. So the jars, we can put the hot jars in the hot steamer. So we'll be back. Alrighty, I'll just bring you back here. This is has a thick texture. So you want to make sure you are stirring constantly. The stuff will explode like lava, spit out a bunch of hot mustard if you ain't careful. So make sure you keep that stirred really good. And I don't know if I clarified it earlier. In case I didn't, I will do it now. When I'm doing large batch processing, I use my oven. It's real convenient. But if I'm just doing a single processing batch, I don't have a problem putting my jars in a water bath canner or whatever to get them hot if they're not hot out of my dishwasher. Unfortunately, my dishwasher it just got through with a load of dishes because I forgot to turn them on last night. Or I probably would have done them that way today, but there's a couple options for you. Heat them in your water bath canner as it comes up to boil, throw them in your dishwasher or the oven. 250 degrees for 15-20 minutes will sanitize your jars just as the others. So there's a tidbit for you. Hopefully you got something out of that if you didn't already know it. This is my steam canner, and this is how it goes into the green. We get when it's ready. Alrighty, we are ready to go. My steam canner is almost there, so let's get this thick mustardy stuff processed. The ketchup and the tomato, the barbecue sauce had, I forget which one. One had a 1/4 inch, one had a 1/2 inch head space. So see how we do here. I know I won't get that. When I did the math of 60 ounces and I measured the jar on my digital scale, the 1 inch head space gave me 7 ounces. We're gonna try to get almost 8 ounces in these jars. There will be some volume loss just due to the fact that there's all this sticky stuff here. So this last jar, I'm just gonna try to save as much as I can. So hot. Tell you what, this mustard is gets a little dirt. Kind of cools off on these rims. Just want to make sure my rims are clean. Finger tight. Okay, while that comes up to temp, back into the green room, I'm gonna get these other jars back in the oven. Oh, and by the way, I put a silicone mat in my cookie sheet so that my jars and lids don't slide around. Okay, what was I gonna say? We currently decant one of those 30 ounce. We currently buy those 2 packs of 30 ounce mustard from Sam's, and I will decant into a jar like this. I have one in my refrigerator. I'm going to empty this into when it cools off. The thing is, I have to keep that other 30 ounce in my refrigerator also. The reason we do that is we don't eat that much mustard, and then sometimes we eat a lot of mustard, but it's just easier to get out of a jar than it is to shake, and sometimes we forget to shake and you get all that liquid on your sandwich. So this is just easier for us. We also, these make perfect little camper size mustards when we go camping. So it's saved us a lot of money over the years. So I hope we'll be back in a minute. Alrighty, our steamer is ready. I'm gonna set a timer for 20. Why 20? Because it wasn't a approved canning or processing method for that. I looked at some recipes for pickled stuff, and according to the ketchup and the barbecue, I'm just gonna go 20. Do it all at 20. So better be safe than sorry, right? So we'll be back in about 20-25 minutes. See you then. Okay, let's have a little chat here at the table. I ran some numbers, and I'm going to insert some pictures here of the price from Walmart's website to show you the pricing that I'm using. So I got okay, let me back up. So what started this process here? I've been wanting for years, and I worked, now I'm retired. I seem to have more time to enjoy what I'm doing here with processing food and all that cool stuff. I started on a journey. So one of my projects on my canning project list for the year was to make my own. Hold on just a minute. Okay, I had to check on my jars up there. One of my projects I was excited to do this year was to make my own barbecue sauce. I had found a recipe. I believe it was the Needy Homesteaders YouTube channel. She said her barbecue was better than Sweet Baby Ray's, and I don't know if you can get better than Sweet Baby Ray's. I know that's a personal preference. So I needed some tomato sauce, a large can of tomato sauce. So when we went to Sam's, they didn't have the big number 10 cans of tomato sauce. But what I did find was that huge jug, it's a gallon jug of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue. And I'm like, how much is this? $12. And I did the quick math in my head. I'm like, I don't know if I could make it cheaper than this. So, I mean, I could, but I didn't want to have to deal with it. So I'm like, I'll just reprocess it, make me some Sweet Baby Ray's. That's what started this process. While I was there, I saw the big thing of ketchup. I'm like, okay, we're always needing ketchup, and I was out of mustard, so I needed mustard. So I'm like, I think I'm just going to take all this home and reprocess it. So here is the numbers. So the Sweet Baby Ray barbecue was 160 ounces at $12.98. That comes to 8 cents an ounce. Of course, you can't get a 16 ounce, a pint. They're like 18 ounces of the Sweet Baby Ray's at Walmart, and it was $2.28. That comes to 12 cents an ounce. Sam's ketchup. They didn't have Heinz. I'm gonna try this fancy stuff here. Come in a 114 ounce tub for $4.98. That's 4 cents an ounce. The closest I could get to a pint was a 20 ounce bottle. It was $1.62 for, I think it was Hunt's. And then the French's mustard was 60 ounces. You can get 105 ounce off of Amazon for $5.38, which I might do that next time. But it was $5.49, which put it at 9 cents an ounce. And you can get an 8 ounce jar of it at Walmart for $1.67. And that's 21 cents an ounce. So we're talking pennies an ounce here. But here's the deal, Nina. If I was to buy the volume that those bulk containers got me, it would cost me $50.35 versus putting them up, taking a couple hours on a Saturday, $23. That's a $27 savings. Well, that might not sound like a lot to you, but over a period of time, depending on how much your kids and y'all enjoy mustard and barbecue, you know, cookout season's just around the corner, it could add up. $27 you can get you some meat, maybe a pack of meat, but it might pay for the hamburger. But anyway, you know, with the price of things in the store, I'm always looking for ways to save on the grocery bill, because there's not much you can cut out. When you live on a fixed income, things you can control is about the only thing you can save on. And I like a challenge. So anyway, the barbecue sauce is going to cost me $1.30 a jar. And the ketchup's going to cost me 71 cents a jar. And the mustard's going to cost me $1.56 a jar. I'm sorry, about 35 cents a jar. So that's very significant in savings. Plus, what this allows you to do, that'll sit on your shelf for years, a couple years probably. But it goes to, you know, helping create a long-term pantry. Some things when we think about what if, you know, all hell breaks loose, sometimes we don't think about the condiments. The things that'll take that beans and rice and those boring dishes and make them enjoyable. So anyway, I hope this inspired you. So we'll come back from the table talk here in a little bit as we wrap up this first batch. Alrighty, the next batch is going, and this is our ketchup, and we're around the 3.5 mark on the ketchup. Alrighty, let's test our last product, which is the barbecue sauce. I'll just kind of wipe it off on a napkin. And we're also around between the 3 and the 3.5. So all 3 batches are good to go. Well, we finished our projects today. That took a few hours, but I had a lot of interruptions. But we got our ketchup, beautiful ketchup. We got one more to seal here. We got our mustard. beautiful yellow mustard. There's our ketchup and our barbecue sauce. So I'm very pleased with how this turned out, and let me get this camera readjusted. I'm pleased with how this turned out. This is my first time trying it. Would I do this again? Absolutely. I would do this again. I wound up with 9 pints of barbecue. I should have had 10. Not sure where the other one went. Somewhere in the air. Got 7.5 half pints of mustard. I was expecting 8.5, and I got 6 ketchup. I was expecting 7. I'm just wondering if the weight of the product includes the weight of the container, because I should not have been this short. I'll do some investigating on that. But anyway, yeah, it's turned out great. I hope you found some value in today, and this motivated you to join the land of canning. If you found anything in here that you liked, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below. Tell me the condiments that you've reprocessed or you've processed, and which one you're going to try. Anyway, have a great day. We'll talk to you later.